professor back there, and he's heading this way. Now get aboard.
Hello there, humans. Welcome to my world of stuff. My name is... And this is a new series on the channel, which I should be doing fairly regularly, hopefully, of retro movie reviews. Shortish reviews of some classic films that you might never have seen, or you might have seen and forgotten, that I've never come across before. So, looking forward to digging deep into the archive to seeing what delights I can bring to you in future videos. First one is Valley of Gwangi, as you'll have seen from the thumbnail and the title. This is one of my favourite monster movies. Now, we all love a great big dinosaur film. This is one of the great films of Ray Harryhausen, the master of stop-motion animation, who created, of course, the legendary Sinbad films, Clash of the Titans, and one of the best of these types of films, Jason and the Argonauts, from the early 1960s. This, although it's better known than it used to be, it's still one of his lesser known and lesser regarded films, which is a shame, because it's a rip-roaring Wild West adventure with dinosaurs. It's basically King Kong in the Wild West. It follows that sort of very much the template of King Kong in 1933, which is hardly surprising, because the whole project was originally created and conceptualized by Willis O'Brien, who's the special effects mastermind behind King Kong. It was a project that he'd always wanted to bring to the screen, but it never happened for various reasons. But it's such an irresistible combination of classic sort of Hollywood American culture, in a way, that the Wild West with monster movies, and it was something that you'd think would be a guaranteed winner, but it wasn't a big hit. I think it was bundled off in a double bill with another lesser film and sort of drifted out of consciousness. And I remember hearing about this film at the time and shortly afterwards, and seeing photographs and posters and so on, and thinking, I want to see this film, and eventually got to see it years later when it finally arrived, probably on TV, and I loved it. As I said, it's King Kong for the 1960s. The basic story is stars James Franciscus as a slightly shady sort of cowboy who travels with a gang of other cowboys and entrepreneurs. It's sort of basically his ex-girlfriend, his ex-partner, I think her name's TJ Breckenridge, a stunt horsewoman at a circus, at a travelling circus, and he goes to see her again, having jilted her years before, just as she's come into the possession of an Eohippus, which is a very small miniature horse. Once he's seen that, he discovers that there may be more of these creatures, and together with a group of other cowpokes, they travel into the desert to see if they can find any more exotic animals, and they find more than they bargained for when they travel into a mysterious lost valley wherein live all sorts of prehistoric predators, primarily a tyrannosaur, although I think it's an allosaur. It's hard to tell. I mean, it looks like a tyrannosaurus, but I think it's supposed to be an allosaurus, and you get a triceratops, and you get all those classic monsters that you've seen in films such as Jurassic Park ever since. And this is a sort of a precursor to Jurassic Park in a way. There's a terrific scene with a pterodactyl which lifts up one of the group as a young lad and carries him aloft until he's brought down. It is very much, as I say, it's the King Kong thing. A group of explorers go to a strange land. They capture the Allosaurus, take him back to civilization, where he escapes and causes chaos. It's pretty much all you need to know about the story, but what makes it work so well are those fantastic set pieces. Even if you've never seen the film, you're probably aware of the classic scene where the cowboys are trying to rope and lasso the Allosaurus. It's a terrific sequence. And then the fight sequence with the Triceratops. And it's just a terrific adventure film that's of its time. And if you're a fan of Ray Harryhausen's work, you will love the stop motion animation. It's wonderful. I've always loved that sort of stuff. I think today's kids might look at it and think, this is terrible CGI. But it isn't CGI. That's the whole thing about this animation. As fans will know, Harryhausen crafted these beautiful models over metal frames and animated them frame by frame painstakingly. And to the modern eye, if you've not seen this sort of stuff before, it looks jerky and it looks, I hesitate to say unconvincing, but I think it does look convincing. But what I think that these things have over CGI. Because they're real things that are being manipulated, they just have a sense of reality and believability about them that today's CGI creatures, fantastic as they are, they don't. Because no matter how good the CGI is, you're always aware that these things have been created on a computer and dropped into the image. But here, even though the technique of dropping them into the image is much the same, you know that somebody's created this thing and it's been animated and brought to life in a special way. And I think that there's something about the motion as well, which is just slightly unnatural, but makes it natural, if you see what I mean. It looks realistic because it looks unrealistic. And I know that makes no sense at all, but you have to watch these films to sort of really understand. It's a great film. I mean, it's nice to watch a film from the past that isn't burdened with all the requirements of a lot of modern films, if you like, all the sort of box ticking that a lot of films have to do to satisfy the perceived demands of the audience. It's a straightforward adventure film. It's a bit of a love story. It's a western. It's a monster film, and it's got an extraordinary climax at the end. And what is so good about the creature itself is that when it comes to its end, it meets its end, and I'm trying not to spoil it too much, but obviously it does meet its end, even though it's a monster and has killed people and is apparently an unthinking beast. You do feel some sympathy for it when it meets its end, and that's the genius of this sort of animation, this sort of film, that there's an ability to create a reality about the creatures, that you actually care about what happens to them even when they've done terrible things. And I'm not sure that today's monster films are able to do that, because monsters are very much just monsters. This is, as I said, I picked this up in the HMV 2 for 15 sale, which I think is still going on, so if you rush down to your local HMV, you might find it. I know it's not available online anymore, but if you've not seen it, highly recommend it. If you love a monster movie and if you can cope with old-fashioned animation techniques, you really should. I know some people who won't watch black and white films and won't watch anything not made since the 2000s, and missing out on so much, especially, good old-fashioned adventure films like this. That's the Valley of Gwangi, and I'm going to give it a big chunky 9 out of 10 because it is one of my favourite monster films, and watching it again recently did not disappoint. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Look out for more of these sorts of videos, retro movie reviews. The next one is planned, a more recent vintage retro film, which I'll be recording next week, hopefully. So if you have enjoyed this video and any of the previous videos which I have posted, which are all over there somewhere, what you need to do, I would love it if you would, is just like and subscribe. Particularly subscribe, press that button which is over there somewhere. Subscribe to the channel, and you won't miss any of this sort of content. And even if you don't want to watch all the content, at least it gets my subscriptions up. I've got to be mercenary sometimes. So yeah, press like and subscribe, and look out for more content coming soon. And until we meet next time, don't forget, keep taking the stuff.